So we're here outside the world famous London Palladium and we're getting ready to meet Harry Francis, who is playing Mark in a chorus line. So we're here with Harry Francis. Hi Harry, nice to meet you.
How you doing?
So Harry's been kind enough to answer some questions on a chorus line today. So firstly, congratulations on being part of such a wonderful show. How does it feel?
Great, I'm loving it.
You're loving it?
Loving it, yeah.
So you're no stranger to the role of Mark. You actually played the role in Tel Aviv as well.
Yeah, in 2011, me and Gary Wood, who plays Paul, we both did it out there. And it's a hard show to get out of your system, you know, especially we only did about 12 shows of it out there. So when we heard it was coming back, we all desperately wanted to do it. Most of the other people were out working and doing other things, so we were lucky that we were available to do it. So yeah, it was.
Was that with the full creative team as well, like Bayork, etc.?
Not Bob. It was just Bayork and and Michael Gorman. Yeah, so it wasn't all of them, but it was great.
So Mark is the youngest member of the auditionees in a chorus line. Yeah. He's got some classic lines about sort of wet dreams and sexual awkwardness.
Yeah.
Is this a challenge as an actor, or do you kind of relate to Mark there?
I completely relate to it. I mean, I was very young when I started working. I was 16, so I very much was the baby of the company straight away. And my first job, West Side Story, the director asked me on my second day, in front of the entire company if I was a virgin, in front of everyone, which was really lovely and a nice memorable experience to start a year's tour. So yeah, those kind of awkward moments, I can really relate to those. Yeah.
Of course, there's a lot of personal questions obviously coming from Zach, John Partridge's character, being fired at the characters.
We had to kind of do that for real. Our first day of rehearsal was, you know, it's terrifying meeting people for the first time anyway, but instead of just going around the circle and saying who you are and what you're playing, we had to talk for about maybe 3-4 minutes about our lives. And then there's a bit of the show where a few of us, like when I talk and then I go into pantomime, I just mime and the song takes over and I'm still talking but in silence. Well, a few times they made me suddenly talk to the entire company and say what I'm saying. So you were really put on that spot, and it was a great exercise though, because you really got used to not knowing what to say and remind yourself, you know, sometimes there are these long pauses, you haven't got a clue what you're going to come out with. So I always try and use that, but yeah, it's terrifying.
And obviously A Chorus Line is a show about a big long audition process, and we all saw the auditions for this show as well, people lining up around the corner of the London Palladium hoping to get a chance in the show. What was the audition process like for you? Because obviously I know you did the show in Tel Aviv.
Well, we all had to, even though I did the show before, I had to go right back to the start, and it was, you know, it was scary. I mean, especially because you literally are putting yourself on the line, and having done the show before, you know, the idea of maybe not getting it was slightly heartbreaking. I mean, I had a moment towards the end where I did my final audition, and the feedback was that they thought I might be too young for the part, because he's normally 20, and then Bob Avian made the decision to make him 18, because apparently I looked closer to 18 on stage, which I was very happy about, and I was very lucky that they would make that change for me, which was really lovely. So there's a bit of chorus line history for me. They've made him younger, which in a way now, because I suppose walking to audition saying you're 20 isn't that young really. It's not. So when they make a lot of jokes about him being young, nowadays 20 is kind of the average age, you know. So 18 is kind of understandable. People, the older dancers will look at and go, you know, he's young.
How old are you?
21.
21.
Yes, ancient.
Oh please, I'm 24. Wow. So what is your favourite song from the show?
Favourite song? God, the bits that I'm in. Favourite song? I love Mother, which is a bit in montage 3, which I'm not actually in at all. I just stand and listen to it, but it's one of the best bits of music that Marvin Hamlish wrote for it. It's stunning, and I don't know, it's a really kind of calming bit in the show, because everything's quite, you know, busy, and there's something that's really kind of I don't know, just this really kind of peaceful moment comes out of it. It's lovely. So that's my favourite bit to listen to.
And what is it that you think makes the Chorus Line stand out from other shows on the West End?
It's a really brave show. We don't rely really on, as brilliant as the lighting really is brilliant on this show, and the set is brilliant, but it's very simple. We don't rely on the spectacle. It's literally, you know, some dances, brilliant music, and it's you know, there's not even an actual proper story. It's everyone telling individual stories. It's very brave. There are not many musicals where you get someone saying, I'm doing a 5-minute monologue in the middle of the show and talking about the subject matters that we talk about in the show. So it's still a very brave show, a show that makes you think. Everyone can relate to it in some way. It's a show for anyone who's had a passion, so it's not not just for dancers. I'm sure everyone can relate to it in some way. There's someone on the line that you will relate to when you watch.
And a final question before we move on to the lightning round, which I know we're all very excited about.
Yeah.
If today were the day that you had to stop dancing, what would you do?
I hate that question. I hate that question.
But of course, I'm asking for it.
It is, and you stand there and think about that every night. For me, it would be my drawing, my drawing. Because my dad's also an actor, artist, and and he's also a writer. There's a lot of things I do around theatre. I mean, I love making my films, but a lot of that is all kind of influenced by musical theatre or something like that. So there's that. My art. I don't think I want to be a teacher because I a bit like Hattie says in the show. There's that frustration that you should be doing it, and I think to be a good teacher, you need to want to be a teacher, as opposed to doing it because you have to. But yeah, so for me, it would be my art. I would just keep going with my art and hopefully retrain to be a set designer or something like that, which is a massive thing to get into. So that's maybe not realistic, but there's a lot of areas within theatre I'd love to go into.
But always theatre.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm always been obsessed. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for that.